Good morning. The time is 8:07. Overcast skies here in downtown Wausau. We are at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street at our WXCO studios, and even freezing 32 degrees. It is Friday morning, January the 9th of 2026. I am Chad Holmes along with Ian Welsh. It is the Friday edition of the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Again, if you're just rejoining us, if you have not heard, we are back here live on 98.9 WXCO every weekday morning from 8 until 9 a.m., and then from 9 till 10, we would invite you to keep with us because we have an online hour. We are live on YouTube, youtube.com. In fact, we're on YouTube right now, so you can keep it right here from 8 till 10 a.m. But youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. Also, in the 9 o'clock hour, you can tune in on our app, the Civic Media app, by going to the Sports 2 stream and the WXCO part of the app. So again, Civic Media app and also WXCO.FM. You can tune in on the Sports 2 stream between 9 and 10 o'clock. So again, a couple of different ways for you to join us for the entirety of the 2 hours. And then, of course, when we're all done after 10 o'clock, we put up the entire show as a podcast. So if you miss anything, you can get us that way as well. So again, it's great to be back doing the program for the 2 hours every weekday morning. Coming up in the second hour, we're going to make sure that we open things up. If you have ideas on news items for the week, we're going to talk about that in hour number 2. Open up the phone lines. In fact, if there's anything on your mind starting right now, you can join us by calling us at 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. We would love to hear what's on your mind and what's been just a jam-packed week in the news, both locally, statewide, and nationally. 715-814-9330. So again, we'd love to hear from you. Coming up later in this hour, in fact, in about a little more than 10 minutes, we'll be joined by Paul Michlig, as we do on Fridays, talk about a Wisconsin sports weekend. And I think the headline is Packers-Bears playoff game. Packers in Chicago tomorrow night, Saturday night, for the first round of the NFC playoffs. We will talk to Paul Michlig about that and a bunch of other things going on in Wisconsin sports as well. To start things off, and I guess I should say as well, good morning to Ian Welsh.
Good morning, Chad.
Friday morning, and I've got to say, to start things off, there's a couple of items I wanted to talk about here in the first segment. Number one, have you noticed that all the roads around here have completely fallen apart?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I really don't understand. Is it because of the weather? Is it because of the timing? But it just feels like all over. It's not just one road.
The potholes are everywhere.
There are roads all over the Wausau area that are not bad. They're horrible. And
yeah,
to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what's going on here.
And I know that I think starting yesterday, I think the construction workers have been out there in the mornings trying to fill some of those holes, but there's so many holes. I mean, it's going to take a while, but the roads are really not very good at all.
No.
I mean, it's like every couple of seconds you drive on the road, it's like it's pothole after pothole, and you got to try to swerve around without, hitting anybody and make sure you just, because going over potholes is very bad for your tires.
No kidding. And
if you run over potholes too many times, there is a good chance that your tires are going to, take a lot of damage, and then you have to pay for new tires.
Last night, I'm coming back from my hockey broadcast, and all of a sudden I see on my dash one of the lights that's with the tires flashed.
Oh.
And I think it's because of all these potholes. So I'm getting a little annoyed by that. And I
didn't get the tire. I just got the automatic brake system activated in my car, which I didn't know my car had that.
Oh, jeez.
So I guess the roads are still pretty slick out there. Not really slippery, it's just wet. But at nighttime when it gets colder, that a rain can just turn into a layer of ice, and then you got to be really careful on the roads. So between the ice and the potholes, you definitely have a lot of work cut out when driving this month.
Yeah, the rain really was pouring down last night when I got out of the hockey game. It was even now there's still some massive mini lakes out there in certain areas because of all the rain, and then you had a little bit of melting snow because of that rain, and then of course there's still some very slick areas on sidewalks. I mean, you got to still be very aware of that as well. But I gotta figure that there's a lot of unhappy people out there right now because of all these potholes, because it is not.
Agree.
I can't remember it being this bad, to be honest with you. I mean, I remember the old saying, fix the bleeping roads. Well, it's time to fix the bleeping roads again. So I mean, whoever's in charge around here better get to work on that, because it really is something that's going to cause a lot of damage for a lot of folks here. And by the way, I apologize to you. I forgot to turn my camera on.
That's okay. I'll get it up.
I'm gonna get that on right now, because of course, as I said, we are on YouTube, youtube.com, and our 98.9 WXCO channel. And when I got in here, I got all set up, ready to roll, and I forgot to turn on my camera. So we're going to do that right now. Another thing that I wanted to, there I am. So again, if you join us on YouTube, I am now, you can see me. Also something that I wanted to discuss is, and in a sense, a little surprised, but also simply thrilled, at least it's a step forward, is yesterday, in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., there was a vote that would extend the expired health care subsidies. And right now, starting this month, I'm paying more than $500 a month more every single month for my health care premiums. But the Democrats in the House signed a discharge petition to force Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, to hold a vote on extending they call them the Obamacare subsidies. And that with those subsidies, they would lower my premiums probably by roughly $500. But that it's not done yet because it still has to go to the Senate. But it was basically, it shows that Donald Trump is getting closer and closer to becoming a lame duck president, as we watch every single day. This was a rebuke of Republican leadership, including Donald Trump. The House passed legislation yesterday that would extend the expired health care subsidies for those who get coverage through the Affordable Care Act, as 17 renegade GOP lawmakers joined every Democrat in support. And the vote was 230 votes to extend, 196 to say let them eat cake. And I will say that 7th District Congressman and Wisconsin Republican candidate for governor, Tom Tiffany, of course, voted with the Republicans and said, nope, we want you to pay all this money further in terms of your health care coverage. But basically, there are a lot of people, including myself, who are very concerned about the health care costs going significantly higher. And the bill now goes to the Senate, where pressure is building for a bipartisan compromise. Well, I want my compromise to be bring back the subsidies. I mean,
absolutely.
Republicans have no ideas when it comes to health care except to let people basically get sick and die. I mean, that's what it's all about. And the thing about it, they talk about the cost involved. They never worry about the cost when it comes to passing these massive tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. They never worry about the cost when it comes to passing big subsidies for big oil. They never care about the cost when it comes to the military. I mean, Donald Trump just proposed an insane amount. I think it was $1.5 trillion. These numbers just have no meaning when they get so big. But I mean, it's just unbelievable. They have no concern about those numbers. But boy, when it comes to affecting middle class folks and lower class folks in terms of helping with their health care costs, then we can't afford it. Well, we can never afford that. It's ridiculous. So congratulations. And
it's hypocritical is what
I have been very critical of the Democratic leadership in the Congress very often, but I will say congratulations to the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries. It was his idea to start this discharge petition. And a discharge petition, in case folks are not really aware of it, it's been used a couple of times now in recent months.
Okay.
Number one, it was used in order to pass the legislation to force the Department of Justice and the Trump administration to release the Epstein files, which they are still dragging their feet on, but they did pass it because of this discharge petition. And now here for this healthcare subsidy issue. It basically, you go around, it's like you have your clipboard and you get all these folks in the Congress to sign. And if you get a majority of the people in the House of Representatives to sign it, it forces the Speaker of the House to have a vote on it, because Mike Johnson was not going to have a vote on this. He was just saying, nope, we're not going to do it. But Hakeem Jeffries took his clipboard out, got his piece of paper, and went around and got all the Democrats and some Republicans to sign the discharge petition that forces Mike Johnson to have this vote yesterday. And then 230 members of the House of Representatives voted to extend the subsidies. Again, 34 more voted for it than against it. And this is a rare opportunity to see democracy truly in action.
Absolutely.
Where somebody like Mike Johnson can't thwart the will of the Congress and the will of the people. Now we will see if Republicans have the same kind of guts in the Senate, because it's more difficult, because you need to have 60 votes to basically break a filibuster. And so if you could have a majority in the Senate, but it can still be stopped because of the filibuster.
Well, I really hope that Republicans are wising up and can make the right choice for the American people. Because this is not just, this is a very important or a problem that needs to be fixed. Because, paying $500 for healthcare premium is absolutely
that's more.
Ridiculous.
$500 more.
Ridiculous. And you have insurance, right?
Yes, because that's what I'm paying for.
My gosh.
Real quickly, before we take our first break, weather-wise for today, cloudy through mid-morning, then gradual clearing with a high near 35 degrees. Tonight, a 40% chance of snow, mainly after 5 a.m. Patchy fog after midnight, increasing clouds, a low of 20. Saturday, snow likely, otherwise mostly cloudy, a high near 28. Look for new snow accumulation of 1 to 2 inches possible. And then on Sunday, partly sunny skies and a high near 25. Again, right now it is 30 degrees here in downtown, 32 degrees, I should say, in downtown Wausau. We're going to come back and talk Wisconsin sports as we head to the weekend. Paul Michlig will join us coming up next. With Ian Welsh, I am Chad Holmes. It is the Chad Holmes Show. 98.9 WXCO. And welcome back. It is the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO. Also on YouTube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Friday morning, that means it's time to talk some Wisconsin sports. As joining us is Paul Michlig. And I was thinking, as we were thinking about what I'm going to be talking about here today, this is not about the Packer Bear game. It's not about anything else going on. It's about you. Because this is it. Because we've talked so many times, you want the Packers to win just so Paul Michlig's winter can be shorter.
Yes.
so
this
now,
is about me.
Now the pressure is on.
This is about me.
Because if the Packers lose tomorrow night, that means that Paul Michlig's winter truly starts.
Well, and the problem is, and this is if you want to get Paul Michlig's mind for a second, Marquette did get their first victory the other day in the Big East, but they're not doing good.
No, they're not.
The Bucks are under 500.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs as it started today.
The Badgers,
they're not going to the NCAAs at this point, are they?
They'd be in the bubble.
They have work to do.
They have work to do. That's why, besides the Packers, is really going to make. I've never been one to say, "Hey, there's 38 days to pitchers, catchers," but we might be getting to that level.
You're going to be marking the calendar for Wisconsin spring football practice.
Yes, that's where we're. My entertainment right now is look at all the new guys they're getting every day.
You'll be looking at the transfer portal here.
Yes, that is what this has come to, and so for Wisconsin sports, this is. A big weekend for that, right? I mean, let's not sit here and I don't think anything that's going to be people like, oh, if they lose, I think there's gonna be no changes. There's gonna be no. Now I happily did get an interview request from the Titans, I guess yesterday, which. Whatever, go ahead. I mean, I don't know. I can't believe that he would have a job already, but
I know. But the only thing is, and. I was thinking about how things would be so different because it's not been that long since the NFL added the 7th team for the playoffs. If they hadn't done that, the Packers have been out of the playoffs 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean,
and I know you can't. It is what it is.
Yeah,
but I think you may have said it, or somebody had said it about is 7th place in the conference every year good enough based on what they've been trying to accomplish here? And frankly, I think I tend to agree for the most part, but I would not be shocked, to be honest with you. I would not be shocked if they lose, and they especially lose badly on Saturday, that something does change significantly with the head coach.
No. No.
I think if they lay a huge egg, because the reason I think that
who are they going to get? Chad?
I'm not talking about who they're going to get. I don't care who's going to get.
Well, I would hope they would think about that.
That's not why I think they would change. The reason I think they would change is because you got this policy now is running the show, and it's often when somebody new comes in, they want to make their own pathway. So I would not, again, just based on not just football business, but business as a whole. Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst are not his guys. If he wants to, he could clean house.
But he's worked with him for a little while now. Not just as he was in the building.
But you've seen it in other instances where someone again. I don't think somebody gets that job and just wants to push pencils around the desk. I guarantee you he's got ideas on what he wants to do, and it's not just about expanding title talent or something like that. So I would not be shocked if
Goody just made possibly the biggest trade in the Packers history.
Right. And that was supposed to win a Super Bowl. And if they get out,
well, he got hurt.
Yeah, but it wasn't like you got hurt in week 3. It wasn't like
they lost the last 4 games without him.
Right. So you think there would be no problem if they just run it back again?
I'm not in the business of firing everybody all the time
But you said you were the one that brought it up months ago that you were not sold on Matt LaFleur. Now
I'm not.
Now you're your biggest fan for keeping.
No, I'm
keeping
not.
Him come back.
I'm not. But we have seen it.
Minnesota had a disastrous year. They finished half a game ahead of the Packers. So that's a great year for the Packers. Come on.
They lost their last 4 games.
Yes, they did.
With a lot of injuries, with their starting quarterback not playing the last 2.
Boy, I didn't know you were so much into excuses.
No, I'm in the business of I don't think, and we could go through high school, we could go through college, we could go through the pros. Firing somebody does not always mean results of.
And I'm not saying I would do it, but you're saying there's no chance it's going to happen.
None.
I think that you're completely wrong.
This is what might happen. This is what might happen. Goody's safe, okay? He's safe.
But I thought he's only down to his last year in his.
They both are.
Right. So
but what's going to happen is he's going to get an extension.
Okay.
And they're going to see with Matt LaFleur, they're going to try to lowball him. Not lowball him, but I don't think they're going to go there and pay him $15 million for 3 years. Okay, so they're going to try to go. They're going to try to say we'll want a 1 more year extension because you don't want to have a lame duck in there. Okay,
you have to do something.
And he could go if it's not his price, LaFleur. If it's not his price, he could say, well, I'm not taking a 1 year. I want a 3 year, and they could meet in the middle and get 2 years. All right, that could possibly happen, or they don't meet in the middle, and then he's gone. And that's his decision, not policies.
That's a little bit of a wraparound because let's say that I'm right and that policy would like to do something. He could make it look like that, but that's still policy. I mean, again, if you're going to lowball in order because you're saying it,
I should say lowball the money, lowball the years.
No, but I mean,
is what I'm saying.
But if a guy like Policy's been through this. He's a lawyer type.
Correct.
If he wants, he could do it without firing him. So again, I would not say, oh, that's Matt LaFleur making the decision where policy. No, you know as well as anybody, somebody can make a situation so toxic.
Yeah.
You can't do it. We'll be right back after an information update. And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app and on YouTube, youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. Again, we are live back here from 8 till 9 on 98.9 WXCO. Then from 9 till 10, you can continue with us on youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel, also on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app on the Sports 2 stream. And, of course, you can get it all together in a podcast once we're done after 10 a.m. If you stick with us here on 98.9 WXCO, of course, Greg Bach on starting at 9 o'clock. Along with Paul Michlig. And, again, if you want to call in and say I'm right and Paul's wrong whenever we talk about something, we would love to hear from you. If you want to say he's right and I'm wrong, then I don't want to hear from you. But the number is 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. Let's talk about the game itself. Talking about if they lose, it was almost like it's talking about like they're going to lose.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
But
a lot of people are picking them.
I know.
I think the Packers are going to win. I think maybe if they have like a strategy, if they switch a quarterbacks like every quarter, like switch between Jordan Love and Malik Williams, I think they can pull it off. I'm not sure if you can do that, but that's what I would do.
This is the voice of the fan here. Again,
yeah,
this is just nuts. That's nuts, Ian. That is crazy talk.
Now I will say, Willis, I could see him. I could see him being in maybe
how's his
short
arm?
Down.
No, how's his arm? How's his arm?
Probably not good.
Well, I mean, come on.
Short down. I'm saying running the ball.
This is the same stuff that we heard last year when he came on and played well early. And I
never said play him.
No, but there was a lot of talk out there. Oh, well, there should be some packages for Malik Willis. No, you don't. You have a quarterback, and frankly, and I said this last year. What's Malik Willis's job? It's when he's asked to play, to come in and play well. People act like this is like, oh, man, that's his job. That's why they picked him up.
Yes.
You have Jordan Love, who I think has been playing. I think he's played well. I think he's had a good year. You don't start flipping around quarterbacks. That doesn't work.
No, the only reason I'm saying is the short yardage is because I don't know if Chicago is as fast on their speed on their defense. Willis definitely against Baltimore, and I thought against Chicago too was it looked like he was like one of the fastest guys in that front seven. So when you're talking about short yardage and the Packers, let's not sit here and lie. Packers on fourth down and the third down is short have not been up to speed. If that is going to help win a game, to have him come in and give us that third down and fourth down and short an advantage, put him in. Because we were talking about winning the game here. We're not talking about a long season here. We're talking about one game. If he is going to be the best option on 4th and 1, if we're going to sit there and go in the shotgun and do a play up the middle, a zone read or zone play up the middle, you have to have a zone read off of it. And with Jordan Love at quarterback, you do not want to put him in there, right?
All right, whatever.
You don't want to put him in there, right?
That's fine, whatever.
Let me say something else about the quarterbacks. Is that my dad and I have been talking about this. Is there is a difference between Jordan Love and Malik Willis? Okay.
I think we got the Malik Willis fan club over here. Okay, continue.
Just the difference is that when Jordan Love has the ball and he's going to toss it, he just stands there. Just he looks for an opening, and sometimes that doesn't always work. Now, Malik, he has the ball and he moves around before he throws it.
Starting here.
He actually has. I'm not saying that Jordan Love is bad at that. I'm just saying that Malik is better when it comes to speed and adaptability when it comes to getting rid of the ball.
He played well against Baltimore. He played,
he did.
But what's the old adage? The most popular guy on the team is always the backup quarterback. But let's get beyond the quarterback thing. I mean, let's talk about the game because in the end, I don't think we're going to see a Malik Willis package. Maybe you'll be right. Maybe we'll see it in the short yardage, and that'll be the reason they win the game. And then next week, I will say you were right, and
that will taste bad in your mouth.
Oh, it will be horrible. I may call in sick next Friday. But the game itself, I mean, Chicago. I'm still not completely sold on Chicago. So I mean, I think this is a coin flip game. I think the Packers, if they would have been full strength, I think I would have liked them really a lot more than because I mean the Packers.
Well, if they're at full strength, the game would be at Green Bay, but
that's probably right.
Because they would have beat Baltimore and they would have beat Minnesota
and Chicago.
Well, and Chicago, but the only thing is they only need to win the last two games,
right.
And they would have been at home.
Yeah, but.
I think they can beat them. I mean, there's not a doubt.
Well, what?
But my problem is that defensive line. What Parsons brought to the Chicago game, even if he wasn't making sacks the first time around, was he would be able to run with him side to side, and he couldn't get around the corner. He couldn't get the corner. And if you saw in the last game, I thought he got the corner and he made he's good. He's good off the run and when he turns the corner, he can get his shoulders squared. He can make that pass look like easy. He was making that, and that is it's going to be the defensive line that's going to be the issue. The linebackers are quick enough, but it's going to be that D line, and I just don't know if we have enough to contain them.
Well, I will say as well though, in the game in Chicago, even without Micah Parsons, the Packers shut them down for most of the game. I mean, they did not really get going until very late in that football game. So again,
correct.
And so I don't think that the Packer defense was the problem. The Packers have to score more. That's I think what they have to do tomorrow night. They have to score more. I think the Packers will probably give up more points generally. I mean, maybe not in the end total, but for 4 quarters, what was? I mean, they gave up. They were in single digits.
16.
Yeah, they were single digits until late in the game.
Yep.
So I think the Packers defense did fine. It's the offense that has to step up here. And I think that's the biggest question mark. I mean, Love is back after a couple of weeks. Can they even the game in Green Bay, the Packers didn't score a lot of points against Chicago. This Chicago defense gave up 40-plus points against San Francisco then the week after. And so the Packer offense, I think, is what has to be the key. But I will say also, it'd be nice if Rashawn Gary started to, put a little pressure on the quarterback too.
Or try.
I know.
Or give some effort.
I mean, he's just been the invisible
I'm
man.
sorry, but that was I mean, there was one play particularly in that game when they played Chicago where Williams got around the corner. And you saw all the other guys keep going, and you saw him stop.
Yeah. And when you talk about having the ability to have the speed and the athletic ability, well, that's all he is. He's an athlete. That should be enough. I mean, he should be able to do that. But
we haven't seen it to say something like that. I think is not realistic. Is because we're asking them like, hey, can you have one game? Well, you've had 8 games, 9 games where you have been literally invisible, and 4 of those games you had the best DN on the other side.
You should be able to have one-on-one and be
accident. You should get
back there all the time
by an accident.
Yeah. So I mean, I do think though that the Packer offense, and frankly, again, I mean, it's easy to say, but this line is not what it once was, so that makes it much more difficult. I mean, you talk about, the run game's not what it was because their line's not what it once was. I mean, the line is just,
I bet you, honestly, you're talking about Gary, for example. I bet you he plays less than 25 snaps.
Okay, well, keep an eye on that.
I mean, they had a couple guys come in last week that they gave shots, and they did good, and they still got Van Ness.
Well, if they do good, I'm all for it.
Correct. I bet you Green Bay's sitting there going, we're trying to win one game. This is a different animal.
And the thing about that is, and there's a whole different discussion, is that you look forward into the future. There's no way you bring back Rashawn Gary then. I mean,
and that's what my point is that
done.
You're trying
He's done.
They're not going to care. Like 3 weeks ago, they were still caring that he cared.
Right.
And at this point in time, if he plays 25 snaps, 20 snaps, 15 snaps.
If he's mad, who cares?
Who cares? Because he's going to be gone anyways.
Exactly.
And if you win the game, great. Then it shows that you did it right. So you know what I'm saying? So at this point in time, I don't think they're going to care about feelings.
Yeah. Are they going to win?
I don't think they are. I just don't think that defense of line. Chicago got too tricky with a lot of stuff. They get too tricky. If they come out there and they line it up and they pound the ball, they're going to give us problems.
You're right, though, that's a general trend I've noticed. The genius coach. Sometimes you don't need to be the genius coach. And I think guys like Johnson, I think guys like LaFleur sometimes, they want to be the genius coach. These young minds, they want to be known as the incredible geniuses of NFL offense. And I think if you're right, if Johnson decides to be the genius coach, then the Packers have a much better chance of winning the game because then they'll make mistakes.
Correct. I mean, you're talking about that 4th down play. You're talking Chicago moved the ball at will. Let's not sit here and say that they did not move the ball at will. They moved the ball all the way down. It was 4th and 1. And they got tricky, and they had let's snap it in between the tight ends thing, and the ball went back, so we got the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
They out tricked themselves. If they do what they're supposed to do, I don't think the Packers defense can stop them. That's just my personal feeling.
No, I think that there's a lot to that, and again, you want to hope that maybe that Johnson is first year and he's starting to read all the press clippings, and that maybe that will be something that's enough for the Packers to find a way again. But I do think it's going to be it's one of those games where I would not put any money on this game. I really don't know, to be honest with you. This is one of those where usually you have a feeling. I really don't know who's going to win this game. I really have no clue.
The way Green Bay wins this game, and this is going to sound stupid, if they score 40 points. If they score 40 points, they'll win the game.
And that's one of the odd things about the Packers.
It's a pretty high amount of points.
That's a high point.
But the Packers have had those kind of games, and they've had the other kind of games. I mean, there are times where that Packer offense does look unstoppable, and then there's other times it does. It has not had. It's not been a real consistent offense at all this year, has it?
They just haven't finished in some situations.
That's
And the Chicago game was one game they didn't finish, and they got to make sure that they're not going for field goals, that they're getting touchdowns. The old saying goes, and they got to. I think they have to gamble. I think they have to, when they have a chance to put them away. Like if it's 4th and 1 from the 5, you know what? Go for it. Things like that for the touchdown,
right.
Because they need to have a double-digit lead going into that 4th quarter. They did last time, and they lost it.
The first time they played the Bears, they won, and they lost the second time. Like, what was the difference then? What do you think?
It wasn't that much of a difference, to be honest with you. The first time, the Bears didn't score late to force overtime.
Correct.
I mean, it was that
He threw
tight.
a bad ball.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was a terrible ball.
Yep.
And that's what you have to hope for as well. And also, when you get those chances, you got to catch them. You cannot drop picks.
Is it supposed to rain there? I heard
it could be some precipitation.
If anything that could slow that field down is going to be the Packers' advantage.
Yeah. You have to leave, or do you want to spend a few more minutes?
Well, we can spend a few more minutes.
Because I want to talk about the Bucs, and I'm kind of curious of. We've had this discussion about Giannis and the whole future thing, and I want to get your. I'm not sure what you're thinking now because.
He says he's staying there or something.
I know. So I'm curious. I think there's some nuance to it. So let's talk about that.
All right.
Coming up, we'll be back in 2 minutes, a few more minutes here in this hour. And again, don't forget to join us after 9 o'clock on YouTube and also on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. The time is 8:49.
This is no social crisis, just another tricky day for you.
In the dark, I like to read his mind. But I'm frightened.
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Heading towards the weekend. It is Friday, the 9th day of January, 32 degrees, overcast skies here in downtown Wausau. We're looking ahead to another big Wisconsin sports weekend. And the Bucs, they've shown signs of life, but, I mean, their schedule really wasn't that hard. And then they lose a game to Washington that they should have lost. But Washington's actually played better basketball, if people have noticed.
Yep.
But Giannis has come back. Giannis doing Giannis things. Says he'll never ask for a trade. So I guess we should all be. He's a lifer, right?
And there's a lot of rumors going on. Obviously, Trae Young is gone, which I'm happy they didn't pick him.
Oh, that was
he's going to Washington or whatever.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis is out there. There's a lot of things that I don't see them staying pat, but they're draining to watch and be a part of. I mean, because of the soap opera.
I know.
Of the team, of him, of Doc, and I don't think it's really Doc's totally fault.
I mean, it's not it's a team that is what it is. When Giannis is there, they have. I think they're up. I think we started at the year. I said maybe a 44-45 win team. I think that's what they are.
Yep.
I think they're not a losing team like they are. I don't think they would have a losing record if Giannis had played all these games. But they're also not going to be a 52-53 win team. And I think they're destined for. They were always destined to be sort of on the edge of either being the top, being sixth, or being in that seventh play-in situation. It is what it is, I think, is the way to put it.
It is what it is. and they don't have another. KPJ is the next, and I said this since their trade, and he is, I think, honestly, their second best player. Now, I don't know if that's good enough to be a second best player, right? You know what I mean?
When you talk about big threes, and that's always what they talk about in the NBA, you have to have your big three. When he's your number two, that means it's not a big three, no matter who your number three is.
And who is your number three?
I have no idea.
You know what I mean? Like that's and Miles Turner has gotten better recently, but he's got to be.
Oh, he's been disappointing. I thought. I mean, again, he was never the number one or number two guy at Indiana. He was always sort of that wingman. But he has. I think maybe Giannis not being consistently in the lineup has hurt him as well.
It has hurt him. But at some point in time, he's got to. The thing with him, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, is because he really, when he came to Milwaukee, he jumped in. He jumped into the city. Yeah. He said all the right things. Yeah. He's done all the right things. I'm going to give the guy a little leeway.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just because of that.
You'll judge, I think, we'll all judge at the end of the season, and because we know what he was brought in for. It was to give them an opportunity, if it all came together, to make a playoff run. The midterm doesn't look great, but there's still time to turn it around.
Those three haven't played that many games together.
Exactly.
So let's see what they. I was a little disappointed that they didn't give as good a showing. I know the score was a little better at the end against Golden State.
Yeah.
But they started hitting some shots and they separated it pretty quick. I thought against Sacramento they looked pretty good. And so it'll be interesting tonight. LA's pretty banged up. go in there LA tonight and get a W. But you got to tell me, why do you think about Giannis? What's your whole thing about?
The thing about it is he plays the game pretty well. I mean, in terms of still trying to he wants to be the good guy, and I appreciate that.
Yep.
But we're going to find out after this season, because he'll be eligible again for one of these massive extensions. And if he doesn't sign it, then the Bucks are put into a position where they're almost, without him even saying, I got to be traded, it says you can't afford to get into a situation where he walks for nothing.
Correct.
And the longer than you wait, the amount you get back shrinks, and you get to a position where if he doesn't sign that extension after this season, during the offseason, the Bucks have to make a very hard decision. Do
you think, honestly, in the NBA, these teams are going, you know what? We don't need to get Giannis because we're going to lose a lot of stuff from the top teams, I'm saying. To get Giannis, they're going to have to give up a lot.
Yeah.
If I'm a top team already, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I am a top team already, why would I shake things up?
Well, that's the Knicks. I mean, that's because that's been the team that's sort of been where Giannis is
correct.
Sort of, but they are in a position where they could win the championship this year, and that's
without Giannis.
Exactly, that is the exact question that they have to ask.
You know, I think that's what's because if he gets traded to I don't think he wants to get traded to a team that's worse.
No, absolutely not.
So,
I mean,
you know what I mean?
He's not going to sign an extension with anybody because that's one of the things that wherever he goes, they have to kind of know, hey, he's gonna sign it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a very small group. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that would fit that category.
And if they think they can win without him, if they're in a position to win without him, why would they shake up the team?
Exactly. So I mean, that could be the wild card that keeps him in Milwaukee. That he finds out, well, you know, the places that I could go to are really not better than my situation here.
Correct.
So I mean, that would be the wild card.
And then that's what I think is happening is on there that Giannis is out of the playoffs right now, right?
Yeah, 11th.
So if I'm the Knicks, just example, guess what? The best player in the NBA is not even in the playoffs.
Oh, come on. No. I don't think they're looking at it that way. They're not saying, no, they're 11th because Giannis. No.
No, I'm talking about giving up.
I know what you're saying. But you also know the other side of the coin is you bring in a guy like Giannis, he takes you to that next level. He allows you to, if you're a Eastern Conference finalist like New York was last year, there are some people I'm sure in that organization think, well, if we add him, and we make this deal right, we give away the right people, that he could take us to that next stage as well. So I mean, it's a two-way street.
It is the Packers. I'm just going to go back to that.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons. Are we in the Super Bowl?
No.
Did we make that trade for why reason? What reason do we make it for?
Go to the Super Bowl. But I mean,
that's what it's the exact same situation.
Well, it's also Damian Lillard's trade. I mean,
we can keep on going through all of them.
I mean, every major trade that's ever been made.
You're going to say that you want to guarantee a Super Bowl or guarantee an NBA championship.
Have a good weekend.
You guys have a great weekend.
Tune us in, youtube.com, Sports2Stream, WXCO.FM, and the Civic Media app, or else it's Greg Bach here on WXCO after 9 o'clock.
Is what you are.
Good morning. The time is 9:07. Currently 34 degrees under overcast skies here in downtown Wausau. We are live from our studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. I am Chad Holmes. It is the Chad Holmes Show, hour number 2, 98.9 WXCO. Actually, here in hour number 2, we are strictly online. We are live on our YouTube channel at our 98.9 WXCO channel at youtube.com. Also, you can catch us at WXCO.FM and on the Civic Media app by listening on the Sports 2 stream. So again, you can hear us by going to the Sports 2 stream and join us there as well. You can join us if there's something on your mind. Call us up at 715-814-9330. 715-814-9330 to join us here on the program. Across the way, behind the glass, is our in-studio engineer, Mr. Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
Weekend coming up. Anything on your plate in terms of what's going on?
Let's see. Well, this week we're mostly going to watch the Packer game, and hopefully it'll be a good one. It'd be nice if they could pull out a win to move ahead in the playoffs. But it's just like you said, it's an up in the air kind of game. You never know what's going to happen, so I'm sure it'll be fun to watch, though. But next weekend, actually, my family and I are going to Madison to go see the musical Hamilton at the Overture Center. It was a nice little Christmas present my brother Travis gave us as a family.
Very nice. I know you've been...
I always like going to the Overture Center in Madison to see a show. We've seen Wicked there like 2 times, actually. And the most recent show we saw there was the play Clue, based off the original movie back in the day. It's not a musical, but it was a very enjoyable show and a lot of impressive elements as well. So it'll be very interesting to go see Hamilton at the Overture Center, because we actually have watched Hamilton on Disney Plus, but we've never seen it live.
Oh,
so
very good.
Well, it'll definitely be a different experience, but it should be very enjoyable.
Fantastic. So that sounds terrific. Actually, speaking of theatrical performances, next week, River and Woods Theater here in Wausau presents Calendar Girls.
That's
and
right.
We will have special guests coming in Monday morning in the first hour, talking about the show. So we'll learn more about that production. We will find out all the information in terms of what you need to know on tickets and where it is. So again, that will be coming up on Monday morning right here on this program. It will be during the first hour on our live hour during the 8 till 9 a.m. hour on 98.9 WXCO. Weather-wise for the weekend, just in case you do have folks out there who are getting ready to hit the road and maybe travel. Today, right now, of course, you look out there and it's mostly cloudy, but it's going to turn sunny. So by the little bit later in the day, we'll get some sunshine. Temperatures are not really going to move around too much. High temperature close to where we are right now. Right now it's 34, and the high temperature expected to be around 35. It will be a bit blustery out there. Northwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, decreasing to 5 to 10 miles per hour in the afternoon. And those winds could gust as high as 26 miles per hour. Tonight, a 40% chance of snow, mainly after 5 a.m., otherwise some patchy fog after midnight, increasing clouds, a low around 20. Tomorrow, that's the day that you kind of have to keep an eye out for things in terms of any travel, because tomorrow we are expecting some snow. Snow likely. Some early patchy fog, otherwise mostly cloudy, and a high near 28. Light and variable winds becoming northwest at 6 to 11 miles per hour in the morning. Those winds could gust as high as 20 miles per hour. New snow accumulation of 1 to 2 inches possible. And then things will turn partly sunny on Sunday and a high near 25 degrees. North-northwest winds at 9 to 11 miles per hour, becoming west in the afternoon. And those winds could gust as high as 21 miles per hour. Right now, here in downtown Wausau, at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street, overcast skies and 34 degrees. The winds are out of the northwest at 17 miles per hour, gusting as high as 28 miles per hour, wind chill factor of 23. The dew point is 28, relative humidity of 79%. The barometer at 29.82 inches and a visibility of 10 miles. Quick note that tonight we do have high school hockey. The Wausau West Warriors will take on Middleton. It is part of the Wausau West Hockey Invitational. If you're a hockey fan, would like to see some terrific high school hockey doubleheaders tonight and tomorrow because it is a tournament. The tournament gets underway at 6 o'clock with the first semifinal. Perennial Powers, Notre Dame Academy, and Eau Claire Memorial will face off. And then Wausau West against Middleton in the second game. That will be starting at approximately 8:30. So we will be on the air at just around 8 o'clock. Again, it is an approximate start time because it's based on how long the first game goes. But tune in around 8 o'clock for Wausau West hockey against Middleton right here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the meaning of that. I think really good news because so often we're talking about the bad stuff, but the meaning behind that rebuke of Trump and I think his minions in the Congress in terms of the Affordable Care Act and the subsidies. Because it's been a story that's been a build recently. Because we recall the government shutdown not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I was very upset when the government shutdown ended without the guarantee of the subsidies being continued.
It was ugly.
Because I felt like the Democratic Party, in that sense, had a little bit of capital to work with to try to force the Republicans to do something they should be doing. That is, something that the public as a whole wants to be done. But the idea that then came across from the, 7 or 8 senators on the Democratic side that turned and basically allowed the Republicans to get the government reopened was that, hey, we're going to force a vote. We're going to have a vote on the subsidies. Well, the idea was that was in the Senate. There was no guarantees in the House. And it sounded like it was a completely meaningless gesture, that if you could not get a vote in the House, it doesn't matter whether or not there would be a vote in the Senate. But, again, the Democrats in the leadership in the House of Representatives, led by the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, the congressman from New York, used the discharge petition in order to go around Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. Basically, again, it's something that had not been used a whole lot, but it's been used twice to great effect in the last couple of months. First of all, with the Epstein files to get those released, even though the Trump administration continues to, I think, ignore the law as they continue to slowly bring out these files.
Drag their feet is what you said.
Yep, drag their feet. But here, in this respect, it actually did what it's supposed to do. The Hakeem Jeffries got the signatures of more than half of the members of the House of Representatives. That forced Mike Johnson to hold a vote. And then yesterday, the vote occurred. And lo and behold, 17 Republicans joined with every Democrat to say that they wanted to have the Affordable Care Act subsidies continue. And the thing about it is,
You said they needed over 60 votes, right?
well, that's in the Senate, so we'll talk about that. That's the Senate version. So, but what I want to say here again, the tally was 230 to 196, and you know that the Republicans who crossed the line did not do it because they wanted to go up against Donald Trump. They did not do it because they wanted to cross Mike Johnson. They did it because the people in their district wanted it to be done. Because they realized if they continued to stand against it, it could possibly hurt them in the election coming up in November. This is about self-preservation for the 17 Republican lawmakers who joined every Democrat in support of the extension of the expired health care subsidies. These health care subsidies expired at the end of last month. So right now, people like myself who are on the exchange are paying significantly higher health care premiums each and every month. In my case, more than $500. But this is the first step towards reestablishing those health care subsidies. So now the bill goes to the Senate, and there is pressure that is coming for some sort of compromise. I just hope that if there is a compromise, that it does not sell out the folks that need these subsidies. That, frankly, Republicans got to be pushed to say either we're for it or against it. And it's just another aspect where they feel like right now the unpopular policies of this Trump administration is coming back to bite them. And that's, again, as much as the fear, and it's fearful this when it comes to the lack of democracy that Donald Trump seems to believe in. He just does not believe in democracy. It's more of a totalitarian mindset. But we're not completely lost yet as long as the people still have some sort of voice here. Right. And as you know, I know that people like Trump are probably looking for any way to avoid elections coming up in November. But at this point, these folks in the Congress know that they're going to have to face their voters. And if they continue to go up against the will of the voters, they could find themselves out of a job. And that is, again,
a backlash.
Yes, and that's, again, what these folks have to deal with. And that's why, again, I do salute what Jeffries and the House Democrats were able to do in this situation, putting basically the Republicans in a position that they had to vote. They had to vote either for helping lower and middle class folks with their health care subsidies, or by saying, nope, we're going to continue to focus completely on millionaires and billionaires and basically say, anybody else, you're on your own. So, again, very, very, I think, good news yesterday. And now I'm curious to see what the next step is. As you said, and as I said in the last hour, it's not as easy in the Senate because in order for a bill to advance, you have to break cloture. And that is basically a filibuster. And cloture comes at 60 votes. So not only do you have to get 50 or 51 votes, you have to get 60 votes in order to get to a final vote. And then, of course, if you get a majority, then you're able to pass a bill. But the Senate has these rules where in order to clear the hurdle of getting to a final vote, you have to have 60 votes to break a filibuster.
Do you know when this vote will take place, or do we not know yet?
That's a good question here. Let me just check the Associated Press here in terms of what they're saying about whether or not
I mean, if they do get the 60 votes, I think this will be a pivotal moment in the Senate as well, because it shows that people are not afraid to, they understand that their actions have consequences, and that the people are the ones who matter more, not just the top 1% who have plenty of money already, and in that.
Well, what the basically, again, the Republicans still in control of the United States Senate. What their leader in the Senate is John Thune. He's the Republican leader, the majority leader from South Dakota. There has been a small group of senators from both parties been working on an alternative plan that could find support in both chambers and become law. John Thune said that for any plan to find support in his chamber, it will need to have income limits to ensure that the financial aid is focused on those who most need the help. And I would be curious to know what that limit is. Yeah. It better not be something like $20,000 or something like that. Because, again, he also says he and other Republicans want to ensure that beneficiaries would have to at least pay a nominal amount for their coverage because doggone it, they're willing to give away the store to billionaires and millionaires, but you got to make sure that that those who are at the lower end of the spectrum are paying into anything because they feel like then you have skin in the game. Finally, Thune said there would need to be some expansion of health savings accounts, which allow people to save money and withdraw it tax-free as long as the money is spent on qualified medical expenses. GOP Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio, a leader in the group of about a dozen senators, said they hope to deliver a framework next week. He and others met with House colleagues on options. And again, Gene Shaheen, a Democrat from New Hampshire who's part of the negotiation, said there's agreement on addressing fraud in healthcare. I mean, these folks never care about fraud when it comes to rich folks, but boy, they feel like there's all this fraud going on. So I mean, again,
so hypocritical.
You just know that ultimately Republicans are going to try to make this, as painful as possible, but the process continues. It's not always the prettiest process, but it just continues. We got to take a time out. We're going to come back, have more. Again, you can join us, 715-814-9330, 715-814-9330. Coming up next, I want to let you know what happened in area high school sports last night. Some action both in basketball and hockey. We'll go over the scoreboard there and then talk about some more of the news headlines as we continue on this Friday morning. With Ian Welsh, I am Chad Holmes. It is the Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. On Thursday night, the Wausau West hockey team returns to play in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, playing host to Wisconsin Rapids at the Marathon Park Ice Arena. Hear all the exciting action live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO.
So, how are the kids?
Well, Emily made the honor roll.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, we're really proud of her. Tyler, on the other hand, though.
What's going on?
He's been moody lately, just feeling down and not like himself.
Oh, we've been there. Nick was struggling last spring. He was so anxious and stressed.
Really? What helped?
Well, he joined the soccer team. And ever since, he's been a lot happier. He has more energy, he's less stressed, and he's definitely in a better mood at home. It's made a huge difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting out of the house, he's getting some exercise, and he's off his phone for once. It's been good for his mental health.
Sounds like it's been good for your mental health, too.
Participating in Wisconsin high school sports improves students' physical and mental health. Encourage your son or daughter to get involved. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
On Friday night, the Wausau West High School hockey team takes on Middleton in the first round of the Wausau West Hockey Invitational. Hear all the exciting action live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app, starting with the pregame show at 8 p.m. Wausau West Hockey on 98.9 WXCO is brought to you by Sun Printing, the Wausau West Athletic Department, Cloverville Credit Union, sponsor of the Cloverville Credit Union broadcast booth, Rocket Industrial, and the Wausau Business Show, the Wausau Cyclones, the Wausau West Hockey Booster Club, Four Seasons Golf of Wausau, and Mike Whitmore Construction. It's Wausau West High School hockey against Middleton, Friday night, starting with the pregame show at approximately 8 p.m. on your home for Wausau West Sports, 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And welcome back. It is the Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching. Oh, I'm acting like we're on the air. No, we're online here for this second hour. We're on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app, Sports 2 stream, and also on YouTube, youtube.com and the 98. WXCO channel. Again, just glad to be back, be able to have the opportunity to stretch things out, not be limited to our 7.5-minute updates, be able to have some longer form discussions and try to bring you involved. And again, as we continue in here in 2026, we want your voice to be heard. If there is something on your mind, if you want to talk about the headlines of the week, whether it's Minneapolis or anything else going on, we would love to hear from you at 715-814-9330. 715-814-9330. Coming up, we'll talk more about some of the news headlines going on. Later in the show, we'll wrap it up with our number for the day quiz and take you up until 10 a.m. But real quickly here in this segment, I wanted to talk a little bit about what was going on last night on the scoreboard for high school sports. Of course, we are Wausau's only high school radio play-by-play voice. And we are, what are we when it comes to high school play-by-play?
We are very, very proud to be the only local Wausau radio station that covers play-by-play action of high school sports.
Darn right.
Yes.
So let's look at boys basketball. There was no action in the Wisconsin Valley Conference last night, but there is plenty of action tonight. Wausau West and Wausau East, the perennial battle between the Warriors and the Lumberjacks. That will be played over at the Wausau East Gym tonight in boys hoops. Wisconsin Rapids is at DC Everest and Stevens Point at Marshfield in a big one between the top two teams right now in the conference standings. Merriwood Conference South, there was a full slate of activity last night in boys basketball, and Newman Catholic lost a heartbreaker at Shawamigan. The Cardinals fell to the Screaming Eagles by a score of 68-67. Also last night, it was Abbotsford and Edgar in one of the highest scoring games I can recall in high school basketball. 111-86. Edgar beat Abbotsford last night. And in a non-conference game, Stratford fell to Stanley Boyd by a score of 71-55. Action tonight in the Merriwood South in boys hoops. Marathon looking to stay undefeated. Marathon 8-0 on the year. They travel to 5-1 Athens. Also tonight, Stratford is at Phillips, Assumption at Prentice, and Rib Lake hosting Auburndale. Great Northern Conference in boys hoops last night. Merrill fell to Rhinelander 72-28. And in a non-conference game, Lakeland lost to Rib Lake 65-46. Tonight in the GNC, Mosinee is home against Northern Pines. Tomahawk is at Lakeland and Antigo at Medford. Girls high school basketball. Last night, nothing in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, but tonight, again, full slate of activity. Wausau West at Wausau East. In fact, the Warriors and the Lumberjacks will be playing a girls-boys doubleheader tonight over at East, starting at 6 o'clock with the girls, followed by the boys game. DC Everest girls are at Wisconsin Rapids, and Marshfield travels to Stevens Point. Merriwood South in girls hoops last night. Newman Catholic at home lost to Edgar by a score of 49-38. It was Stratford getting past Auburndale 44-40. Stratford still undefeated in the conference. And Marathon, they moved to 8-2 on the season. Marathon defeated Athens 65-22. Tonight in Merriwood South girls hoops, Newman Catholic at Shawamigan. Edgar at Abbotsford. Auburndale travels to Rib Lake. Stratford is at Phillips. And Prentice hosting Assumption. Great Northern Conference girls basketball last night. Mosinee stays atop the league standings. They beat Northern Pines 77-40. Tonight, Lakeland is at Tomahawk in the GNC. Medford at Antigo. And Merrill visits Rhinelander. Boys hockey last night. Wisconsin Valley Conference in a game heard right here on 98.9 WXCO. Cooper DePoint had his third consecutive hat trick. Owen Pergalski also scored 3 goals as Wausau West defeated Wisconsin Rapids 9-0. Warriors now 13-1 overall, 4-1 in the conference. Stevens Point moves to 12-1 overall, 4-0 in the WVC. They defeated Marshfield 11-2, and DC Everest over East Merrill United by a score of 6-1. Mentioned earlier that tonight, Wausau West hosting Middleton in high school hockey. First round of the Wausau West Hockey Invitational, 8 o'clock, right here on 98.9 WXCO. Also tonight, EMU, East Merrill United, hosting a tournament at the Smith Center in Merrill. Their first round game is against South Central, which is a co-op of a bunch of teams down in the Madison area, including DeForest, Madison East, and others. So EMU against South Central tonight in hockey as well. Great Northern Conference in high school hockey. Mosinee fell last night to Tomahawk by a score of 4-3. It was Northern Pines over Lakeland 5-0. Wapaka defeated Antigo 1-0, and Medford in overtime beat Rhinelander 3-2. Mosinee in high school hockey tonight, back in action for a non-conference game. They will make the long trek to southeast Wisconsin and take on Marquette University High School. So that's a look at what's going on in area high school sports.
Very nice.
And, of course, hope you can join us for our hockey broadcast with Wausau West and Middleton tonight at 8 on 98.9 WXCO. We're going to take another quick timeout. We're going to get a news update. Isabella Nieto, our WXCO news reporter, will give us the latest news information, and then we'll be back again, talk about some of the other headlines going on in the news here in Wisconsin and throughout the country. 715-814-9330, 715-814-9330 to join us as well. The time is 9:32, 34 degrees under overcast skies. With Ian Welsh, I'm Chad Holmes here on 98.9 WXCO, the YouTube channel actually, youtube.com, and also WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app, Sports 2 stream.
WXCO News, I'm Isabella Nieto. A bill in the state legislature could turn control over energy projects, specifically solar and wind projects, over to local municipalities. And a Marathon County resolution could ask the State Counties Association to help get it passed. Twin bills in the state Senate and Assembly would require local approval for certain wind and solar projects before the Public Service Commission can approve them.
At a high level, what the legislation does, and it's in the packet, it is allows for those municipalities for projects that are over, as I understand it, over 100 megawatts.
That's Marathon County Administrator Lance Leonard speaking at an infrastructure committee meeting yesterday. Under the resolution, Leonard would be responsible for asking the Wisconsin Counties Association to lobby for the bill on Marathon County's behalf.
It allows for the municipality to essentially take action to restrict the project from moving forward outside of involvement through the PSC public hearing.
District 29 Supervisor Chris Dickinson supported passing the resolution.
But I think it ties in with lots of the conversations that we've had about local control, particularly when it comes to, I would say, the county and that, being a arm of the state.
The resolution comes as Alliant Energy is working to set up a 150 megawatt wind farm in Marathon County. According to their website, a proposed timeline slates the company to submit a permit application to the PSC this year. If the legislation passes, Marathon County local municipalities would be able to approve or deny the project. The resolution passed out of the committee and heads to the full county board at the end of the month. I'm Isabella Nieto for WXCO News.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the WIAA, are the 178,000 high school sports students in Wisconsin. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
If you want me, you can find me left of center off of the strip. In the outskirts and in the fringes, in the corner out of the grip. If you want me, you can find me left of center off of the strip. In the outskirts
welcome back. Friday morning, I think we're all ready for the weekend. It is 9:37. Yeah, I think so. It's like 9:37. It is 34 degrees under overcast skies here in downtown Wausau. Hopefully your Friday's off to a terrific start, and glad you could be with us here with the Chad Holmes Show on youtube.com, 98.9 WXCO channel, WXCO.FM, and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. Again, we may sound like I'm saying this way too often, but it's something that's new. And listening habits are sometimes hard to develop and hard to break. And I want to make sure that everybody is always aware of what's going on, especially if you're tuned in on our podcast, because each and every day we do have a podcast. You can go to our website, WXCO.FM, and then you'll see right on the front page on the right-hand side, it'll be news. It'll have our daily news roundup with Isabella Nieto. And also there will be the Chad Holmes Show. And you can listen to the show anytime at your convenience. If the mornings are, maybe at work or doing something else, you can always listen, again, at your convenience. And they have this great technology these days as well. You can also speed it up. They can make us talk faster. But you can get it there. You can also, if you're on Spotify or any other podcast source, just subscribe to WXCO News, and then you'll see the Chad Holmes Show as part of that as well. So, again, different ways that we can connect. And as I said, we would love to hear from you, because as we go into this year, it's going to be, frankly, I mean, a lot of unknowns. I really,
Absolutely.
as we sit here, just 9 days into the new year, where we're headed, I don't know. To be honest with you, I mean, we've seen this week, it's just been craziness. And we have elections coming up. We have elections in the spring, a lot of local elections in the spring. We have a state Supreme Court election coming up in April as well. Then, of course, we have the gubernatorial race, which is wide open because Governor Evers is retiring after his second term. That will be running through the summer until the primary. And then, of course, we'll have the general election coming up in November. We'll have, I think, incredible opportunities for the Democratic Party to try to get control both in the Assembly and the State Senate. And, of course, they're trying to go, as we heard from David Crowley, the need for a trifecta in order to get some very important issues and important things done. We'll see whether or not Democrats can take over both the House of Representatives and the Senate, see whether or not Donald Trump continues this incredibly, I think, vengeful policy with ICE. And frankly, something this week. And, folks, if you disagree or agree, let us know. 715-814-9330. But it's coming more and more apparent. Watching J.D. Vance yesterday, he had a press conference.
Oh, geez.
It was disgusting. And basically, the idea that they are trying to push across is that the woman in Minnesota, whose name Renee Nicole Good, mother, widow,
poet,
some sort of domestic terrorist, and that basically that she was trying to run over these ICE agents when the video does not show it. But the idea that I took away from what he said, J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, and other members of the administration, is we're at a point where you're either with the Trump administration and everything that they do, or it's okay for you to get shot. I mean, that's what it came down to. It's like, hey, you want to go out there and protest, well, you're going to get shot. And we have lots of protests because people don't like what's going on. And one of the hallmarks of this country, and we're going to say this again,
Absolutely.
as I say it over and over again, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence,
yes,
one of the tenets of this country is the right to protest. And the idea that if you go out there and protest, well, that gives Donald Trump's thugs free reign to shoot you is just wrong. And
it's unacceptable in every way.
Yes.
And people who defend it, a shame on you.
And you talk about being either American or un-American. There is nothing more American than going out and standing with your neighbors and protesting. Doesn't mean violent protests.
No,
but it means
peaceful protests, having signs.
We've seen it here in this area over and over again, these protests, especially the No Kings and the Tom Tiffany protests, all just out there being very, very peaceful and just trying to have their voice be heard. That's one of the great aspects of this country is the ability for everybody to have their voice be heard. One of the frustrating aspects is the idea that the rich can have their voice be amplified more than everybody else. And I think that is true. But at the same time, we still have the opportunity, even if we don't have a lot of money, to have our voice be heard in other ways. And one of which is going out, standing at the side of a street in a public area and having signs and saying, I don't like this. I want us to be better than this. That is as American as it gets.
Absolutely.
And yet those on the right seem to think that's un-American, that they're all... And one of the things that just drives me up the wall is they keep acting like, oh, these people that are coming out, they're not just coming out to protest. They're all being organized. They're all being paid to do this, when it's nothing further from the truth. And if they don't realize there's a lot of people out there that don't like what they're doing, then they really do have their heads in the sand. But again, I think that something is going to be a common theme with us here in the mornings.
Yeah.
The 250th anniversary of this country. And
it's definitely a fork in the road. It's like you don't know what direction we're going to go.
Yes, we want to continue to have a 300th anniversary and a 400th anniversary and a 500th anniversary of this country. But people like Donald Trump, I don't think want that. They want to have a Russia-like operation. That's what invasions of Venezuela are about.
He wants to have a totalitarianism form of government.
He wants to use the Putin playbook.
He wants
totalitarianism.
He wants a total control of everything.
And the thing about it is,
you speak out against it, well, you're a criminal, and you're going to be arrested.
And that's
or
the
even
thing.
Worse.
And that's the thing is, if you really believe that you are the voice of the people, that the people are behind you, then you don't have to muzzle those you're against, because then we're just a small outlying group. But they're so fearful of it, they try to muzzle them all the time. And also one thing that has come out in the last couple of days concerning Minneapolis and what is going on there is how incompetent the people around Donald Trump really are. Because one of the stories that came out yesterday is that, and one thing that the administration and ICE have tried to do is to have them be masked, to have them be unknowable, that we don't know who these people are. That's one of their big goals. But they're so incompetent that they basically gave the information that allowed people to figure out who the person was that shot Renee Nicole Good. So now people know who this person is when they didn't want that to happen. But what happened is the person has been identified. His name is Jonathan Ross. And a lot of people on the right are just livid. Oh, he's being doxxed. How dare you put his name out there? Well, the thing is, we wouldn't know who he is except for the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. She is incompetent because she provided the most information in helping folks to identify him. She told the press that the same officer who shot and killed Renee Nicole Good had been dragged by a vehicle last year by patrolling in the Twin Cities. So then people said, hey, well, who was this person? Let's go back and see some of the incidents that occurred in the Twin Cities and and go back and figure this all out. So they went back and they found it did not take very long. It didn't take very much digging to find out that Jonathan Ross was the person that took place, because there was only one well-publicized incident like that took place in the Minneapolis area. So again, for those right-wingers who are going to complain that, oh, how dare you put out the guy's name because you're basically putting a target on his back. Well, the person that did it was Kristi Noem.
Is someone in your own party.
And also something that's going on that everybody should be very upset with is right now we have the Department of Justice of the United States of America actively trying to obstruct justice because Minnesota officials want to investigate this, I will call, possible murder. I think that a lot of the video is very straightforward, but I want to be fair here.
Okay.
The possibility of some sort of crime being committed in this circumstance.
All right.
But now they were told that by the Department of Justice and the FBI that Minnesota law enforcement will not be allowed to access evidence gathered at the scene, and that the FBI is refusing to work with them on the investigation into Good's killing.
Unbelievable.
So basically, it is the Department of Justice is trying to obstruct justice here, not have a full investigation. Because right from the beginning, everybody in the Donald Trump administration has been saying, "Oh, this was, so this officer was being run over," when that was not the case. So again, they're just trying to obstruct. And I find it very ironic.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back here in a couple minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about some famous events on this day in history and do the number for the day quiz.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to connect this obstruction from the Department of Justice and the United States federal government and the executive branch to the anniversary of the birth of somebody that is probably as well known as anyone for the cover-up and what can happen. Who is that person? You're going to have to wait for 2 minutes, and then we'll let you know, because we're going to come back, tell you about, again, a little bit of history on this state, and also wrap it up with our number for the day quiz with Ian Welsh.
Yep.
That's straight ahead. The time is 9:48. Again, here in hour number 2, we are live on YouTube.com, the 98.9 WXCO channel, also on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app by tuning in to the Sports 2 stream. We'll be back in 2 minutes here on WXCO.
Then they send me away to teach me how to be sensible, logical, responsible, practical.
I'm Chad Holmes, join former Wausau West head hockey coach B.J. Brandt and myself every Wednesday night from 6 till 8 p.m. for the Big High School Sports Show on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, and also broadcasting live on the 98.9 WXCO YouTube channel. Each week we'll be talking high school winter sports. We'll review and preview the basketball and hockey action with both the boys and the girls, and each week we'll also be joined by an area head coach and a student athlete guest as well. It's the Big High School Sports Show every Wednesday night from 6 till 8 p.m. on Central Wisconsin's radio home for high school sports. 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, and broadcasting live on YouTube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the WIAA, are the 178,000 high school sports students in Wisconsin. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
And welcome back. Chad Holmes Show here on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app, Sports 2 stream, and on YouTube.com on the 98.9 WXCO channel. With Ian Welsh, I'm Chad Holmes. Before we get into our history lesson, some kind of breaking news involving the Packers. Longtime Packer executive John Eric Sullivan has been chosen by the Miami Dolphins as their next general manager. John Eric Sullivan has been part of the Packer organization for the past, 20 years or so. So he's going to get a bigger job. He's first started as a scouting intern in 2003. He worked his way up to director of college scouting, co-director of player personnel, and most recently vice president of player personnel. He's a trusted voice for general manager Brian Gutekunst. And so again, John Eric Sullivan is somebody that the Packers will be losing from their front office, becoming the new general manager of the Miami Dolphins. So
that's very surprising.
Well, I mean, after 20 years, I think he probably wants to be a GM, and Miami decided that, and it says something good about the Packers front office that they're able to do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what's happened on this date in history.
Okay.
January the 9th. And when you think about cover-ups, and I just mentioned that I think that the Department of Justice and the Trump administration is trying to cover up any kind of investigation or find out the facts involving this Minnesota shooting. The person that is most known for a cover-up would have to be Richard Nixon.
I was just going to say that.
Nixon, of course, Watergate.
Yeah.
And so often it's been said it was not the crime of Watergate, the break-in at the Watergate complex that brought Nixon down, but it was the cover-up.
Yeah.
Well, today is Richard Nixon's birthday. Nixon was born on January the 9th of 1913. So he would have been 113 years old today. And I have to say, I have been to the Richard Nixon Presidential Library in Yorba Linda, California a number of times. I love it because, and I actually got a couple of biographies. I find him to be one of the most intriguing figures in American political history.
I would agree with
that. I just think that he's just a very interesting, flawed individual, but very, very interesting in terms of having some incredible highs and incredible lows during the course of his lifetime. And if you have a chance to be in Southern California, I would suggest that you visit the Richard Nixon Presidential Library.
Definitely a president we can learn from.
Definitely. And I hope Donald Trump learns about the folly of a cover-up.
I wouldn't hold my breath on that one.
Also, today, on this date in history, 1941, singer and political activist Joan Baez, who was at the forefront of the 1960s folk music revival, was born in Staten Island, New York. On this date in 1960, construction began on the Aswan High Dam in Egypt. Upon completion in 1970, it generated enormous amounts of electric power and allowed for the control of the annual Nile flood. On this date in 1982, Catherine Middleton, who married Prince William in 2011, became Princess Kate. She was born on this date in 1982 in Reading, Berkshire, England. On this date in 2001, Apple introduced iTunes.
Oh,
the digital media player application that, with the years later debut of the iPod, revolutionized digital music.
I remember that when iTunes came out.
And then on this date in 2005, Mahmoud Abbas was elected president of the Palestinian Authority. And finally, going back, way back, to this date in 1431. Do you know what happened on this date in 1431?
I can't say I do, actually.
Joan of Arc was put on trial. She was 19 years old, put on trial in France on this date in 1431. She faced more than 70 accusations, including murder and heresy. She eventually confessed, resulting in a life sentence that was later escalated to execution. Yeesh, not good. Not good.
Not good at all.
But, all right, time for our number for the day quiz.
Last one of the 4-day week.
And this guy, it involves a person that is, I think, one of the great heroes. And I use that term very rarely. But I think he truly was a hero because not only was he an incredible athlete, I think he was an incredible man. And everybody that's ever talked about having an interaction with him would say just what an incredible human being he was.
Ooh.
And
who is it?
The man is Bart Starr.
Oh.
And again, I think he was just one of the greats, and I think he will.
What a legend.
I don't care what Rodgers did. I don't care what Favre did. I don't care what anybody else has done. He is still the ultimate Green Bay Packer. He is.
Absolutely.
Because not only was he the ultimate winner as a quarterback, working with Vince Lombardi. He was somebody that was always an incredible human being that always touched people in a positive way.
That's good.
But he, of course, had 5 NFL championships, led the Packers to the first 2 Super Bowls, NFL Hall of Famer, was Packer coach. When I was a kid, we had a pet, a black cat. And his name was Black Bart Starr because we loved Bart Starr in our household. Our pet was Black Bart Starr. So
That's sweet.
I know. We loved Black Bart Starr, just like we loved the real Bart Starr. But
All right.
the number for the day is,
Okay.
it was on January the 9th of what year that Bart Starr was born? Today is Bart Starr's birthday.
What year?
What year was Bart Starr born?
Okay.
Was he born on this date in 1924? Was he born on this date in 1929? Was Bart Starr born on this date in 1934?
So
1924, 1929, or 1934? So 5-year intervals.
Okay.
24, 29, or 34.
What
And by
year
the
was
way,
Bart
this is
Starr born?
it's all on the line here for you today.
Yeah, because
You get
I can do 2 out of 4.
You get
Oh,
both.
that's 50%.
You
this
get
week.
both a passing grade and a winning week. But if you get it wrong, then you don't get a passing grade at all. So it's all on the line.
Yeah. Okay. 1924.
Legendary coach
29,
Bart Starr and quarterback Bart Starr, born in Montgomery, Alabama, on this date in what year?
Okay, I'm gonna say.
And again, just think about this. I'm gonna help you here.
Okay.
Think about when Bart Starr was the player with the Packers. Think about, what years was he winning those Super Bowls? Try to put it together and then try to figure out, like, how old would he have been when he was playing with the Packers? And try to put it together.
Okay, I'm gonna say. Final answer. I'm going with 1924. A final answer. I'm gonna say 1924.
Well, Bart Starr was winning championships in 1961, 1962, 1965, 1966, and 1967. If he was born in 1924, that means he would have been winning those final championships in his early 40s. And players were not doing it in his early 40s. So he was actually born in 1934.
1934.
So I was hoping you would kind of try to
At least
put
you
that
learned
all together. There you go. But
Yeah.
happy birthday to Bart Starr.
Happy birthday, Bart Starr.
Heavenly birthday to him. And happy birthday to you too, Richard Nixon. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. We'll be back Monday morning starting at 8:06 on 98.9 WXCO. And again, we will have guests, members of the cast of Calendar Girls from the River and Woods Theater. So that will start off what I think is going to be a pretty big week. I think we're going to have some pretty big guests coming up next week. So we'll share more coming up. But Ian, have a good weekend.
You too, Shed. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend.
And we'll see you Monday here on WXCO.